Good evening, everybody. Sandra Shepard, host of Racing the Races. How you doing? It's possible that we may have a guest on today. I'm not exactly sure yet because I didn't get confirmation. It's in the comments. I didn't put it in the title because I didn't get confirmation that they were going to be on today. That they would actually make it today. Hopefully they will. If not, then we'll try again at another time. Didn't see y'all last week because it's just been a lot going on. So every show now, I'm going to remind people of the deadline to register to vote if you want to, in fact, vote in the primaries, because that deadline is, in fact, on Monday, July the 20th. So if you want to vote in the primaries that take place on August the 18th, 2026, you have to be registered to vote by July 20th, 2026, which is Monday. That deadline is fast approaching. I probably need to do a PSA, but I have so many things that I probably need to do. That's why I haven't done it yet. But yes, if you want to vote in the primaries on August the 18th, 2026, you have to register to vote by July 20th, 2026, which is on Monday. Now, there is a Goombay Festival happening at the city of Miramar, I believe at their Civic Center on Saturday. There will be people out there passing out voter registration, reminding folks to make sure they register to vote. So if you're in the city of Miramar on Saturday, stop by the Goombay and find somebody that'll help you register, or go to browardvotes.org and register to vote. Check your voter registration status to make sure you are in fact registered to vote for the primaries in August, right? Now, Florida is a closed primary state. What that means, if you are registered as a Democrat, when you get your primary voters registration ballot, it will only have Democratic candidates and nonpartisan candidates on the ballot. It will have the Democratic primary candidates and nonpartisan candidates on the ballot, and that's who you can vote for. If you are Republican, it will have the Republican candidates and the nonpartisan candidates on the ballot for you to vote for. If you are registered as an NPA, non-party affiliate person, you will only have the non-partisan races on your ballot. What does that mean? You will have the school board races on your ballot, and you will have the judge races on your ballot. I do believe, like some cities, their commission and council seats may in fact be nonpartisan. If that is the case, then that will be on your ballot too. But if you're in a place where those seats are not nonpartisan, they will not be on your ballot. But most of those commission races, from my understanding, will be on the ballot in November. And that's partly because they may in fact be nonpartisan races. So there's no need for a primary. So I know a lot of those races will be on the ballot in November, unless there's all these qualifiers in Florida, right? Unless you're in one of those cities that have their elections in March, which I live in one of those cities where we have our commission elections in March, and there's a neighboring city that have their elections in March also, but we rotate between odd and even years. And it's only about 13 cities in Broward County that does that. The remainder of them, those individuals are on the ballot in November. So I believe 2 weeks ago when I was on, I said that the vote by mail ballots will be going out. They have gone out. Mine is here. Okay, that's kind of like real, like y'all can't see it. Okay, so those ballots went out. Y'all not gonna be able to see my address because I made sure I blocked it off. So the vote by mail ballots are already been delivered. So they were sent out by the supervisor election, and they are here. They are at your house. They are in your mailbox. And so start voting, right? So when people talk about the primary election is on August the 18th, understand that August the 18th is the very last day that you can vote. It is the very last day that you can vote, because we have 2 weeks of early voting in Florida, right? So Broward County is real cool because the early voting times are set 7 a.m., 7 p.m. from August 3rd to August 16th. You can vote anywhere in those on the early voting sites during early voting from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Miami-Dade, on the other hand, has a very different schedule. Palm Beach may also. I'm not as familiar with the Palm Beach time because I don't have family that vote in Palm. Well, I know people that vote in Palm Beach. I will find them and provide them the next time, which maybe I'll do it before that because the next time is before uh, uh, the last day to early to register to vote. So people would probably want to know that information to make sure they are registered, they're in fact registered to vote before July 20th, which is Monday, is the last time you can register to vote if you want to vote in the primaries. Okay. I did have the schedule. It's in my phone somewhere, and I will check it because Miami-Dade, their times are something like 8 to 4, Monday through Friday, and some different times on the weekend. That's the first week, and the second week is from like 10 to 7. So there's some different Miami-Dade early voting times are a little bit different, and I'm going to pull it up. I should have had it up already, but that's really bad on my part, right? Early voting schedule. See, I should be able to talk this and get it to tell me, but I'm so old school that I still try to type. But I have to tell you, I'm gonna actually talk a little bit about my ballot today because it was interesting to see. So check this out. I got it. It came up. Listen. So Miami-Dade County, Dayton's time for elections. So it's Monday through Friday of the first week. So Monday, August 3rd through Friday, August 7th. The time is 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. On Saturday and Sunday, which is August 8th and August 9th, it's 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday, August 10th through the 14th, it's 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And Saturday, August 15th and 16th is 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. So Miami-Dade have y'all wrecking your brains a little bit more to keep up with the time. So the first week of early voting, Monday through Friday, is 7 to 3. The weekends, for both weekends, it'll be 8 to 4. The second week of early voting in Miami-Dade is August 10th through the 14th. And that's for August 10th to the 14th will be at 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? Broward County, 7 a.m., 7 p.m., all the days, August 3rd through August the 16th. And then on the actual day of voting, which is August the 18th, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. across the state, right? Across the state. And then they'll start giving results out at some point after 7 p.m. Some of those races will already be decided by the time early voting comes out. But, because a lot of people tend to early vote, I would encourage folks to early vote. It's also to make sure, just in case on that last day, in case there's some sort of emergency or something, you've already voted and you're not waiting till the last minute. The other thing, too, is that you get to vote anywhere you want during early voting. But if you wait until August 18th, you have to vote at the precinct that's assigned to you on your voter registration. Because we've had a lot, some of these changes, some of the changes where people were being redistricted, most people got new voter registration cards a couple of weeks ago. I'm one of those new people that got a new voter registration card because they redrew the lines of the congressional district that I was in. And now I believe I'm in Congressional District 26, which is not even on the ballot because we only have, I believe, one candidate on the Democratic side, and then we have another candidate on the Republican side. So they'll end up on the ballot in November because there's no primary, right? And what was interesting about that is all them 5011 people that's in 24, that's CD 24 and in CD 20, some of them could have brought themselves on over to 26 and ran in 26 because there's a young lady that's running. I'm not very familiar with her. I've seen a few of her videos and everything like that. But, some of them people should have came on over here and compete in 26 instead of all of y'all over there in 24 and 20 making a mess of it. You could have probably expanded the vote, given more people's opportunity, given more representation for the Democrats if people were in fact willing to just move over a little bit. So they should have came into 26 because there's about 8 people in 24, another 6 in 20, and CD 20. They recreated 22. Casey Early is over there. Pia, I always forget Pia's last name. They're over there trying to do that work. They're there. I appreciate them for being bold enough to run in those areas. but some of these CD24 and CD20 people could have came on over here and run at 26 because there's no primary there because there's only one person there. I believe that's the seat that Diaz-Balart has. And don't come at me because I'm not sure who my congressional person is since they changed it recently, but I think it is Diaz-Balart because again, he ain't on my ballot because there's no primaries because ain't no competition in neither one of those spaces, but 24 and 20 dealing with all kind of mess, right? Okay, so my little lovely ballot came. Now, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about it. Just in case my guest shows up because I didn't want to mix my show with a whole bunch of things just in case they decide. But if they don't come, it's okay. We're gonna talk about this. So on the Senate side, we have Alex Vindman and Angie Nixon on the ballot. Y'all better go ahead and vote for Angie Nixon. Angie Nixon has been in the state. She's been doing this work. She's an elected here. Alex Vindman is riding on some fame because he was bothered by Trump, right? He's not a native to Florida. I think he moved here like a few years ago. I know he got a whole bunch of money and there are people supporting him, but I don't see him nowhere. You know what I mean? I don't see him nowhere. All I get is emails and text messages and everything like that. I don't think that's how that needs to be. We should be seeing this man face all over the place. But that's when they get comfortable, figuring you're going to go vote for them anyway for the name ID or because they have some other, big name people splattering mails all up in your mailbox and stuff like that. But don't vote for nobody who you don't know where they truly stand on no issues. And he hasn't debated anybody, right? So be real careful about where you let your vote go. Where you see Angie Nixon, she's been out here doing that work. She's been fighting in Tallahassee for us, and she's ready to go to the U.S. Senate and fight too. So on that Democratic side, I'm telling y'all, go ahead and vote for Angie Nixon. She's not telling me to do this. I'm doing this because I do believe that this is the right choice because we do see her. She's out there. She's traveling the state. She's outside. I think she got a bus because I think I saw the bus and everything like that. She's been making her rounds. I've actually met her at several different events already just in South Florida alone, which is amazing when a person is running statewide and they need to see the state. The fact that you can see them showing up in spaces is very important. So go ahead, y'all, vote for Angie Nixon. Alex Vindman, yeah, he got some name and he sounded interesting, but yeah, that's all gone because we need people who's going to go there, do the work, people who are going to fight, people who are going to be in your face because being in DC right now is like a battle. It's a war and we need straight up fighters to go over there and do that work, right? Now, on the governor's side, so that's Angie Nixon, hands down. I ain't even talking about no Alex Vindman. And I think I even had like a couple Zoom meetings where he was supposed to be there and I don't see him there. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, I still haven't heard what this man is finna go do, So yeah, I got a problem with that. And for those who know me, they know that I go to way more events than I should go to when it comes to this. So much so that I think I know all the governor candidates. I know their talking points right now. So when I hear them talking, I'm like, okay, I already know what they're going to say because they say the same thing to all the people because I guess they don't expect people to be showing up to everything and like low-key stalk them to see what they're talking about. But I actually do that sometimes just to hear if they switch up depending on like what group they're in front of. And there are some times where you may need to just switch up a little bit because you may be in an environmental group, for instance, and you may only have a few minutes to talk. So you want that particular group to know exactly what it is that you want to do for the environment so that I can understand. But in terms of the core things that you're going to do when you get into office, that kind of need to stay right there, right? All right, so we got Angie Nixon for senator. On the Democratic side for the governors, it's probably 20 people running for governor. It might be more than that because you have Republicans, Democrats, non-party affiliates, Green Party, Tea Party, this party, that party, all the parties are running in the governor race. But on the Democratic side alone, there's 6 candidates, right? There's 6 candidates, and David Jolly is the only one who already has his lieutenant governor set, right? That's like a flex, pretending that he already know that he has the nomination locked in. But that don't have to be the case because what I'm going to tell you is he has a formidable opponent in Dottie Joseph that's also running for governor. Once again, these people ain't asking me to do this. I am just doing this because I'm familiar with the work that they're doing in the community, and I know that they're going to truly come out there and represent the people, right? So Dottie Joseph is running for governor of Florida. I was amazed by the fact that she did that. She was a state rep, termed out, couldn't run for that seat anymore. We all thought she was going to take a break or maybe run for a congressional seat, but she won when Jerry Demings had to leave the race because of health issues. She saw that we needed someone to step up to the plate and run, and she took on that charge. Now, the problem that I have with David Jolly, I'm gonna tell y'all, I do got a problem with him. The problem with is I have with him is that he was a Republican like 2 minutes ago, right? All right, that ain't no slander or libel or nothing. It wasn't literally 2 minutes ago, but it was right before he decided to run for governor of Florida. The man was not no Democrat, right? He was a Republican. He was a congressional elected as a Republican. He got his claim to fame with his foot into the Democratic space because he used to be on MSNBC talking bad about Trump. But who can't talk about Trump, right? If you are a halfway decent person, you got to talk bad about Trump because Trump doing nothing but bad things. That should not have been what it took to make you want to be a Democrat. You should have been a Democrat all the while because what Democrats do is what it is that the country needs, right? So I truly have a problem with that because he's a Republican at heart, but the Republican Party it is so trash right now that if you are a halfway decent person, you do not want to be affiliated with them, right? And I'm not all against Republicans because I stay in trouble with the Democratic Party right now because there are some Republicans that I support, right? And that I have supported in the past and that I've had on my show and I got in straight whatever with them. But, at this point, it don't matter because at the end of the day, what you want is people who are going to get elected and do the work of the people. That's what you need. And that might be a Republican sometimes. And then that's what you got to do. So in David Jolly case, that man is a Republican. I think he's a Republican in spirit. He saw an opportunity. So he went ahead and became a Democrat. And now everybody falling behind him, trying to vote for him. But in this race, I say Dottie Joseph all day, every day, because she's proven she's worked on every level of government. She's been a judicial clerk. She's a legislator. She's worked on policy. She is ready day one to do this job. It's a big task, but she's ready day one to do it. And her what she wants for the people is in line. She's a fighter. She made it in Tallahassee through all of the DeSantis years. And let me tell you, that's not an easy thing. Not only was it through the DeSantis years, that is when Republicans have a super majority where basically whatever they wanted to do, the Democrats could say whatever, but they were going to do whatever they wanted to do. And she made it through that hostile, toxic environment. And I'm gonna say it's hostile and toxic because I've watched some of the sessions on floridachannel.org, and you can see what they were faced with, right? And in the different types of policies that came out of that administration, right? These are the same people that built Alligator Alcatraz, and a year later, and $600 million later, and all kind of litigation later, they finally had to close down a place that they should have never opened, and they absolutely should have never spent Floridian tax dollars on, right? So, so let me give you the names of the other folks that's in that race. There's Evelyn Castillo-Bach, Thomas Eloy Fernandez, Dana Maria Foster, and Stefan Norman that's in that race. But I think the true competitors in that race are Dottie Joseph for sure, who you all should vote for. And because people are like, oh, we're not telling you who to vote for. Yeah, I'm all day, every day telling you to vote for. So Dottie Joseph, and then I know some people are going to support David Jolly. He has his running mate, Lieutenant Governor, is going to be Gwen Graham. That's a strategic move on his part. He put that on the ballot so y'all could think he's been a Democrat the whole time. He has not. He was a Republican and became a Democrat. I think it was about a year ago when he decided that he was going to run for this seat because DeSantis is termed out and he cannot run no more, right? Now, on the Republican side, the only person I'm going to talk about the Republican and the NPA. So on the Republican side, there's Byron Donalds, who is Trump is backing him all day, every day. He got over $100 million to run this race, which let me tell y'all something. If somebody got $100 million that they are willing to spend to get a job that pays $141,000 plus right now, is going to go up to $250 something thousand in 2027. If you got $100 million and you about to spend it for a job that pay you $250,000, I absolutely question your motives all day, every day on why it is that you want to do that, right? There's another article that's out right now where there's a person who's in that private school, charter school space that donated like $7.5 million to Byron Donald's campaign. Why are you donating that much money if you don't have certain expectations? Don't let these people, when I say these people, don't let these candidates come tell you they're unbought, unbossed, and all that stuff when they're taking millions and millions of dollars from somebody for a job that pays a couple $100,000 if you got some skills in not a regular job, but if you're a doctor, lawyer, engineer, you can make that money, but they're out here spending $100 million to get that gig. They up to something that ain't no good. Listen, I'm a stand on that, because ain't no way in the world if I had $100 million, I'll be spending it trying to get a job that's going to pay me $250. Are you crazy? You know what I could do in the world with $100 million? All right. So that's on Byron Donald on the government side, got way too much money. He has way too much corporate money for him to walk in that room and act like he's about to go do something for Floridians. Y'all don't believe the hype, don't fall for the lies. That man is not about to go in there and do nothing for you when he taking $7.5 million from educated people. He taking development money. He taking insurance company money. He taking way too much corporate money for him to go in there. And business people, capitalism, you investing because you trying to get some return on that investment, right? So they ain't giving that man $7.5 million because they like him. They giving $7.5 million because they believe once he get in the office, he's going to do something for them that's going to give them a return on the investment that they made in his campaign. Believe that is what it is. So you need to get a fighter up in there. So that fighter is going to be on the Democratic side. I say is Dottie Joseph for the governor of Florida, and that's what y'all need to go out here and do, right? Okay, so that's that. So we got Angie Nixon, U.S. Senator. We got Dottie Joseph for the governor. Now there's a chief financial officer position. There's an Earl Ford and a Annette Taddeo. Now, Annette Taddeo, I'm familiar with because she's ran for a whole bunch of different offices. Maybe this is the one for her, right? So she's ran before. I think her name shows up on the ballot almost every cycle. So she, this might be the gig for her, y'all. So go ahead and vote for Annette Taddeo for Chief Financial Officer. I will get a little bit more information on Earl Ford. Again, that's not one of the names I'm familiar with. And the thing about it is these people, they get their name, they spend the money, qualify. They do not, they're not in enough public spaces. Because now, you could pay for a Facebook ad and you should pop up in my feed at least once. Come on now, how I ain't never seen none of your ads, right? So you should pop up at least once. But most of them, they just expect voters to not pay attention, see the name, go in there and do some eeny, meeny, miny, mo, and just vote for them, right? So I shouldn't have said that because that is a racist thing, right? That eeny, meeny, miny, mo is kind of racist, y'all. Oh, sorry I said that. But they just go there and figure people going like, oh, that's the first name, check. Oh, that's a female, check. But what I'm telling you, and that Taddeo, she been trying, right? So she her heart's in the right place. She want to do something, right? So Earl Ford, so he been serving people, working families. He was in the Army Airborne Infantry. We all like to hear that. Was a prosecutor, so he's an attorney, apparently investigating tax abuse with the IRS. So he's ready to do the job as a chief financial officer. He was raised in a small town in Wyoming. I don't know if that's good for Florida, but okay. So yeah, our U.S. Army Infantry, was an investigator for the IRS. Okay, and he believed Florida needs a chief financial officer who will protect consumer safeguards, taxpayer dollars, and bring transparency and accountability to state government. That's what Earl says on his campaign page. Okay, he is running for the chief financial officer to be an independent watchdog for taxpayers, hold insurance companies accountable, and ensure Floridians' financial future works for everyone. Now that's what he's gonna do for real. Yeah, I'm all for that, right? Because that makes sense. And I'm gonna go off a little bit because one of the things that's going to be on the ballot is this whole thing about getting getting rid of people taxes on their property taxes. Let me tell y'all, that's not a good idea because your property taxes pay for services in the area in which you live in, right? Do there need to be some tax reform on the property taxes? Yes, I think so. But to get rid of it completely, stop tripping, y'all, because the taxes ain't your real problem. Your real problem is what you pay for your homeowner's insurance. And I suspect that most of y'all, if you look at your tax bill versus what you pay for your homeowner's insurance, your insurance 9 times out of 10 is higher than what you pay for your taxes. That is your real problem. And that's the one that's unpredictable. That's the thing that you do not use all the time. Because if you file more than 1 or 2 or 3 insurance claims, your insurance company is going to drop you as a hot potato. So that's the money that you never really see work for you, right? Unless you're filing a claim, but you don't see that work for you. But the money that you pay in your property taxes, you see that work for you in your police department, your school board, your fire, the services that your municipality provides to you. So don't go attacking no taxes. And I pay a lot of them. So don't go attacking that. Your real problem is insurance. So if Earl Freud talking about the insurance, and if I could hear him say it with his mouth and believe him, he may get my vote, because I haven't voted yet. I just got it yesterday. But all right. And then, so we got the Commissioner of Agriculture is on the ballot on the Democratic side. There's a Joey Mendoza Atkins and a Donald Pritchard. Again, I don't know none of them people, and none of their ads went across my feed, but maybe because, everything's being recorded and Facebook going to hear me say this. And so all of a sudden, some of their ads are going to start running across my feed. But we have Commissioner of Agriculture. That seat is held presently by a Republican. Nikki Fried was one of the year Nikki Fried was the ag commissioner. She was the only Democrat that won that year. And then she gave it up she gave it up to run for governor in 22, and Charlie Crist got the nomination, which that was a huge mistake that they gave that to Charlie Crist, because that's also one of them people that was not a true Democrat. He went from a Republican to independent and then became a Democrat, and he's a career politician for sure. And people fell for the okie doke and made him the nominee, and he lost miserably to DeSantis. And so we need to be careful about doing this, right? Letting these people come switch up, roll up in the party and act like they're here to do the work for Democrats. And that's not in fact the case. So the Secretary Commission of Agriculture position is open. And I think that position is important because I think they're one of the individuals that get a vote on the parole board. Like if someone is trying to ask for a parole, a pardon in Florida, I think they're one of the votes, right? Don't quote me on that. I really do think they are one of the votes. Yeah. Okay. So Joey Mendoza Atkins is a lifelong Floridian. He got a poli-sci degree, political science degree from FAU. Got a law degree, worked for like Leader Aid, did some farm worker stuff. He looking for the American dream. He wants to protect and serve. He wants to fight for the Floridians, cut the cost of corruption, stop the corruption and fraud being committed by our ag commissioner in collusion with energy companies, monopolies that hike our energy bills. He wants to protect migrant workers to help farmers address the labor shortage and lower grocery prices. Yo, that's some good stuff, right? Because a lot of Florida is ag, right? I did some stuff in Belgrade for like a few years, and big sugar is a problem. That's why we had them green, blue, red algae, all the different color algae in Florida, was because they were, cutting, changing regulation and allowing, folks to go ahead and pollute the Everglades and stuff like that, right? So Joey said he's going to go there and he's going to stop all that. All right, so it seemed like he went to the South Florida school, so maybe Joey is gonna go ahead and do that. And then we got like a Donald Pritchard that's running against Joey. Joey might get my vote. Joey might actually get my vote. You know what I'm saying? So all right. So what we got here about Donald Pritchard? What does he do? He was a dedicated law enforcement officer, right? With experience in labor relations. I don't know about that. I don't know if that's what we're trying to do right here. But apparently he's received some sort of endorsements. And where did he graduate from? Oh, I ain't trying to look at no IG video on him. He's in there. He's a former police officer. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that. So I think Joey gonna probably get my votes most likely. Joey's gonna get my vote for the Commissioner of Agriculture. I see some pictures of Donald Don Pritchard is running, and I can't see his message straight enough, so that's a problem. If I can't just go straight to a campaign page, brother, that's a problem. You got a LinkedIn, or I think he actually ran for something in Pembroke Pines. So yeah, if it's taking me to IG, it's taking me to Ballotopia, it's taking me to some other stuff, you ain't even invest in a real good campaign page. So Donald Pritchard, you will not be getting my vote. I don't got no time for that. So it's going to be Joey Mendoza Atkins for me. Okay, he's talking about farm workers doing that kind of stuff. That's what we're doing. Got at least a poli-sci degree, so he's in the area. So for the Commissioner of Agriculture, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and vote for Joey Mendoza Atkins, right? Now we have some judicial candidates because my ballot is pretty short. We got judicial candidates. Hands down, Tamar Hamilton is getting my vote. I believe this is the third time she's tried to run, that she ran. She came very close, almost each time, and then, you know, some stuff went down. But Tamar Hamilton, she's running against somebody named David Andrew Fry and Kathleen Katie Hinkle. There's the Group 52, so it's Circuit Court Judge, Group 52, Tamar Hamilton. Like I said, these people ain't tell me to do this, but I'm telling you, I've seen her. She's in the community. She's doing the work. She actually lectured to a group of students that I'm aware of. So Tamar Hamilton, she's ready, been an attorney for a number of years, over a decade. She is ready to do the work. So go ahead and vote for Circuit Court Judge, Group 52, Tamar Hamilton, right? Now, County Court Judge, Group 11, those are going to be on all your ballots because judge races are nonpartisan. There's Debbie George Alton and Veronica M. Walker. Veronica M. Walker is the one to vote for County Court Judge Group 11. She's out here doing the work, see her in the community. That's the vote. Veronica M. Walker, County Court Judge Group 11. Okay, that's it. Now, school board, only one that's on mine is the at-large seat, which is 8. Alan Zeman presently has that seat, and he has an opponent, Sonia Azim. I'm telling y'all, vote for Sonia Azim. Alan Zeman went on that board, y'all, to get into the real estate business. He got relatives that has contracts with the school board right now. Apparently, that ain't wrong, but it just shouldn't. It shouldn't be right. Okay, apparently, it ain't wrong for your relatives to be one of those what they call it, people that can get contracts with the school board. It ain't wrong, but it shouldn't be right. Okay. And again, I haven't supported much of the ways in which he voted. There's an issue that I'm dealing with the school board right now. I've reached out to that office several times. They're not responding. It's not just him, that whole crew of folks that's over there. They're doing some stuff that's violating this person's due process rights. They know they violated the due process rights, and they just keep stomping on them. So no one needs that, right? So there's 5 different seats that y'all can change at the school board. I think you should change them all. Go ahead and do that. And I'll focus on the school board probably at the next session that I do. I will go through all of the candidates there. That will be after you guys are allowed to register to vote, but you still need to do it because some of those names might end up on the ballot in November. Maybe so, not sure. But all right, so Alan Zeman is running against Sonia Azim. That's Sonjaazim. Her name is on top of the ballot, and I hope she comes out on top just for that. I do know her. We were in a club together. We were part of the same organization. She's in the community. She's doing the work. She's getting the endorsements. She's there for the right reasons. She's there for the students of Broward County, where Zeman has not shown that they've been there for the students in Broward County. Because if you go to these school board meetings, they spend more time talking about everything but what's best for these students. So they're not there to deal with them kids. So go ahead and let them go back to do whatever kind of corporate jobs they had before, or if they ain't had no jobs, let them go back to having no jobs instead of not doing what's best for students in Broward County. So that's my ballot right there. And so again, Angie Nixon for senator, Dottie Joseph for governor, Annette Tadeo, I guess, for chief financial officer. I'm going to go Joey Mendoza Atkins for commissioner of agriculture, Tamar Hamilton, circuit court judge, group 52, Veronica N. Walker, county court judge, group 11, and then school board at large seat 8, Sonia Azim. That's my ballot. So that's what we're gonna do. Now let's get into this. I'm gonna talk a little bit about 24 and a little bit about 20 because I'm gonna get out of here. Okay, I ain't doing too bad. I'm only at 34 minutes, so I'm gonna try to get out of here about another 5 minutes, right? Okay, 24. Y'all are tripping over there, right? So we got a whole. So 24 is a race that has Oliver Gilbert, Chevron Jones, Kendrick Meek. I don't know if he's the junior or the third. Somebody named I forgot Davis's Marshall Davis, Dr. Rudy Moise is in that race. Gene Monestein is in that race. Rod Vereen is in that race. And I think there's a Black Republican female and there's a Spanish Republican female, I think, in that race. So those are the ones that I can think about. And the fact that I listed 9 names is crazy in and of itself, right? But Chev and Chev, well, I can say Chev because he's like, his sign is like, I'm with Chev, right? So y'all apparently know he was. He's an elected official, has experience, all that kind of stuff, right? Him and Oliver Gilbert are going back and forth on like taking money from the builders of Alligator Alcatraz. Listen, y'all need to go find something else to argue about because both of y'all dead wrong for taking them people money. I understand running for congressional races are expensive, but come on now. None of y'all got clean hands when it comes to that issue. So let that one go to rest and go find something else to talk about and really tell people what it is that you're going to try to do to really make people's lives better. Focus on all that immigration stuff that's going on right now. We got ICE done killed 2 people, and well, they killed 2 themselves this week, caused another one to get hit by a car. If that wasn't this morning, it was yesterday, right? They tried the Homeland Security that was like, okay, we're going to put a pause on this arrest. And the president is like, hell nah, don't put no pause on this arrest. Keep arresting them, even though they don't keep, like 3 people just died this week alone at the hands of these these agents. And this don't matter to this man, okay? And then we're not going to talk about what's happening in the detention facilities. There are more people that have died in immigration detention just in this last year and a half than I think probably ever, right? Than probably ever, which is crazy, right? That's because they're trying to stuff it with people. They don't have the staff. They don't have the medical professionals to deal with this, and they don't care, right? So, so go ahead, y'all CD24 people, go tell us what y'all really going to do about some immigration, what y'all really going to do about some costs, what y'all really going to do instead of, y'all done took the money. You're not giving it back. Don't try to act like you better than the next man because you took it, didn't take it. That ain't what nobody. Well, I mean, I'm definitely gonna judge you because you took that money, right? And probably a whole bunch of other people gonna judge you because y'all take that money. But what I'm saying is like neither one of y'all are in any position to be talking about that because y'all both done took money from them people. And sometimes some people may say in Chev's situation, it's a little bit worse because he was actually one of the Florida electeds that tried to get into Alligator Alcatraz when it first opened, and they wouldn't let him in there because they ain't had no water, they ain't had no bathrooms, they was giving the people cold sandwiches, it was understaffed, the place was a hot mess from day one, it was mosquitoes as big as wasps out there biting up folks or whatever. And if the fact that he tried to go up there and say, oh, we shouldn't have this, and then going to turn around and take the people money. Listen, I don't know. I don't know about none of that. Okay. All right. So that's a problem. Oliver, on the other hand, I hope he stopped wearing his red bottom shoes. Yes, that's a petty point that I'm making, but I really hope he stopped doing that. But what I do see him doing is that he's letting all these folks that support him. That should not be no selling point. You know what I'm saying? No, we don't need to know who's endorsing you because we don't know why they're endorsing you, bro. We want to know what you about to go do that's going to really make the lives of people better and that you're going to go there and truly, truly fight for regular folks because, listen, it is rough out there. And I know people like, girl, it ain't rough for you. It's rough for me too. But trust me, I know it is not as rough for me as it is for a whole bunch of people because I am a professional. So, a professional in my workspace, but it's hard. So if I'm struggling and tripping, I can imagine, I just can absolutely imagine, what it's like for other folks, right? So yeah, we need to know what you finna go do that's for real, right? Instead of all this nonsense. Yeah, y'all all took the money. Now I have to tell you, right? So somebody did ask me this the other day. I'm telling you, man, I'm here. I'm peeping Kendrick Meek. I really think he would be the better person. Again, nobody told me to go talk about them. Nobody told me that I'm not, I don't know if this is an endorsement, but so I don't vote there, but my mother votes in that area. So, listen, Kendrick Meek, he has a history, he has a legacy, he has a family. He's been in DC. He understands like the policies side. He's an attorney. And then I don't think he's caught up in all of this mess. He ain't been around all that long enough to be taking, have millions and millions of dollars and have the biggest signs all over the place or whatever. I mean, so listen, I think I would go that way, right? Dr. Moise, Monestein. I think I've met some people who folks are concerned that he'll get there and then won't necessarily do the business of the people. I'm gonna leave that right there because I don't want to talk about no Haitian brother like that. Because he's I'm definitely gonna say he wouldn't be my choice. But I really think like Kendrick Meek would be the person to come out of this race and probably do the best job representing CD24. That's just I'm gonna just say that. I'm gonna say that for real, because Chevron and Oliver, I don't know what y'all doing. Y'all got all these pastors with y'all back, supporting y'all and everything like that. I ain't gonna talk about no pastors, but I do know that too many times elected officials, when they trying to get people to vote, they go to the church because they know that the pastors, instead of having to try to convince 1,000 people to vote for them, they can just go to the pastor, and the pastor can get their congregation to vote for them because the pastor has co-signed on that candidate. I don't think I like that, right? I don't like the fact that this candidate don't want to do the work to try to, yes, of course, work smart, not hard, but still, get the people to convince you, get the people to vote for you because they really want to vote for you, not because you went and got their pastor to say, yes, I'm with you, right? Okay, so that's me on that. So I'm going to say Kendrick Meek for 24. And then CD20. So the people who know me know that I want Luke to go there, but I want Luke to go for all different kind of reasons, right? I want Luke to go there to have some parties, had a whole Miami crew show up there and expose the hypocrisy of the Republican Party. So that ain't no good reason to send nobody there to Congress. But let me tell you, and I do believe he's going to do good work, right? I do believe he's going to go. If he does get there, he will do good work. So, but I really would like Luke to go there for the parties. But in terms of the person who, since day one, when they decided to run, Elijah Manley has been running from the very beginning. Like Elijah Manley came out last year, raised all this money. You see him everywhere. He's doing his videos. He's putting in the work. He got the endorsement of Ro Khanna. He's on the progressive side of things. He's young enough that, we don't need another. And I'm in that old age, but I'm not that old age, but we need some young voices there because it's crazy that 80, 70, 80-year-olds is making decisions for 26-year-old people. I'm in the middle of that, and I don't understand half the things these 26-year-olds be talking about. So that young voice needs representation. So I would say for that, Elijah Manley should probably be the person that come out of that seat. People are going to be mad at me because Sheila is she's not the incumbent because she resigned from her position. So there's really no incumbent in that race anymore. But Sheila Sheffield McCormick is also running. We got Luther Campbell running. Of course, Debbie Wasserman Schultz was scared to run in her own area. And then so she brought herself on over here to run it. She's in pictures with everybody. And I have to say shamelessly, I ended up in one of those pictures too. Shouldn't have been in there, but I was. So I had to do an event with her. Yeah, so I was there, but you ain't gonna get me to say that she should be the person representing CD20. I'm not gonna say that. So I think Elijah Manley has really been the one that's been out there trying to get it done. So I would say that, but I want Luke to go there and have some parties. But Luke probably ain't gonna say he's going there to have no parties, and he might not have no parties, but I do want you to go there and have some parties, sir. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? Who am I missing in that group? Because I'm just so not into that one. I'm missing somebody. Yeah, but like I said, I'm gonna go with Luke. Manley, he's been there. Like he's been there. I mean, he's been there. So if you don't want to vote for Luke because Luke don't have the experience of a political person, then I'm going to say go ahead and vote for Elijah Manley for CD20. Definitely not no Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Because this is what I think. I'm gonna tell you this. This is what I think. If Debbie Wasserman Schultz end up being the nominee on the Democratic side, she's going to lose. She is going to lose to Carla Spalding on the Republican side. I'm just telling y'all that. If she ends up being the nominee, she is going to lose to Carla Spalding. Carla Spalding is on the Republican side. There's a whole bunch of them, but she also puts in work. She ran against Debbie at least once, if not twice. She came in with over 40. She got about 45% of the votes against her, which if for someone that's been in office 26 years, they should beat anyone 70-30, 65-35 easy. So the fact that race was like a 45-54, something like that, that means that Debbie is absolutely beatable. And I'm telling you, if she becomes the nominee, Carla Spalding is going to beat her because there are going to be a whole bunch of folks that are not going to vote for Debbie. I'm just telling you, they just not going to go there and push that button and vote for Debbie. And Carla going to get all the Republicans and most of them Democrats that's not going to vote for Debbie. So figure out what y'all gonna do in CD20. So I'm at like 45 minutes. I'm gonna stop talking. Amp came in here. He does not agree with me on what I say about the property taxes, but that's okay. That's okay, my brother. That's okay. But he did say no, no, Debbie. He likes Manly. That's good. Luke is the strongest candidate, but it is so many candidates. He absolutely is. And like I said, I want Luke to go there to have some parties and exposing Republicans for the hypocrites that they are. But all right, y'all. So I'm going to end this stream. My guest didn't show up. I'll find out what happened. I sent them the email, probably went into the junk mail and they didn't know it. But whenever they contact me and let me know that they're available, I will be bringing that guest on, even if it's on a day that's outside of a Wednesday, because I do owe them that interview. So I will bring them on and then they will come and tell y'all why you should vote for them. Oh, yo, check this out. I am terrible. You know who I was forgetting for 20? The absolute person that was supposed to be here, Dale Holness. Oh, my God. Okay, y'all, my bad. So I can't go yet because I got to tell you about Dale Holness. So Dale Holness has been in community and he's been doing the work too, right? So yes. Okay, so maybe, Dale, and actually Dale Holness was Elijah Manley's mentor. So Dale taught Elijah a lot of what he knows. Elijah will give him credit for that because Dale Holness was Elijah Manley's mentor. So I guess if you're a person who would support Elijah Manley, you'll probably, vote for Dale Holness because he is the one that's pretty much responsible for Elijah Manley being the candidate and the person that he is. Maybe not totally responsible, but he was definitely his mentor, and Elijah should not deny that publicly because we all know that's in fact the case. So Dale Holness is the other person. I'm so sorry, Dale. I'm so sorry. Maybe I'm a little annoyed with you because you didn't show up and you were supposed to come talk to me today, but I'll give you an opportunity to come and talk about what it is that you want to do. Okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say what the last comment was. Y'all can read that on your own. So Dale Holness, Sheila Sheffield McCormick, who was the person that was elected before. I'm not going to get into why I don't know if she may win again because she has the name ID. A lot of people aren't watching the news, so they don't know what's going on like with her. But I just think that there's too many variables to put a person in a position where we may find ourselves having to do another special election. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen, but that's why I would be reluctant to do that vote, considering we have other candidates that can step in and do the job, right? Like I said, I want Luke to go there to have the parties, man. He's gonna do the work too, but I want him to go to have the parties. So Elijah's been there since the very beginning trying to do that work. Dale Holness is the person that mentored Elijah and got him there. So if you're a supporter, go ahead and vote for Dale Holness. And then I'm gonna still say no to Debbie. She could shock. Yeah, she absolutely can shock everyone. I really do think she has a chance of winning because again, she has the name ID. She was the person who had the seat. She can still refer to herself as a congressperson because she was elected. Once they have that title, they can carry it forever, right? She represented the district for 5 years. She did bring a lot of money. So it's not like she wasn't doing the work. She was doing the work. She did. When I say she, I mean Sheila Sheffield McCormick. She was doing the work for the district. It's just it was a lot of stuff going on with it. You know what I mean? But she was doing the work. So she would get in there. If she gets elected, she would do the job. It's a matter of like, how long will she be able to do the job? Is it going to be so many distractions, with her doing the job? And, again, we need fighters. There's no time for all of this distraction, the mess. It's just, we just don't, we just can't do that because there's too much stuff to be done. And we're really trying to do that work. I know some folks are mad with Hakeem Jeffries right now, but we really should work to make him the Speaker of the House. So the Democrats absolutely need to take the House of Representatives because Mike Johnson ain't doing nothing for no peoples. Okay, he's only there to do what's going to make the president happy, and the president is making everybody else unhappy. So we don't need nobody there that's going to co-sign on the foolishness that this president is doing. So we definitely need him out as Speaker. So we need to have the Democrats in. And apparently, I heard y'all president is going to be talking on Thursday about something. He going to go rag on Georgia for like however many hours because he mad Georgia turned blue. Listen, yeah, Georgia, Keisha Land Bottoms. So listen, all y'all in Georgia, Keisha Land's Bottoms for governor. Y'all got a chance to do the right thing. Go ahead and do that. That sister's going to do that work. We need that. We need a Black female governor in the United States. I mean, come on, right? So Keisha Land's Bottom for governor in Georgia. Yes. Okay. I'm out. Okay. So it was good talking to y'all. Spoke a little bit longer than I want to. Sorry, Dale, you weren't able to make it. I want you to come on so we can talk about you. So the next time when I do a show right before the elections, I could tell people to vote for you and not like Elijah or Luke that had a parties in DC. All right. Good night, everybody. Hey y'all, Sandra Sheffrin, host of Racing the Races. Go ahead, please subscribe to our YouTube channel called Racing the Races. Subscribe to our TikTok page, Racing the Races, and like us on Facebook and Instagram, Racing the Races. Go ahead, support the page. I'm tired of getting crazy comments from these white dude trolls that's mad. Like, why y'all mad in the comments now? So come on, y'all, those who are fans of the show, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, comment on the video. Tell us what it is what else you would like to see instead of me having to read all these trolling comments. But I see it as a compliment because I showed up in their feed and I really don't know who they are. And since they're not challenging the content is good. They want to make personal attacks, but that's okay. So I need y'all to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube page, subscribe to TikTok. All of it is called Racing the Races, and go ahead and like us on Facebook and Instagram.